TinkerCAD tips. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, over the last couple of weeks, I've been presenting different multicolor, multi-part 3D objects like this, the type of thing that you could print on a multicolor printer like a Bamboo or a Prusa, and have all these colors separated. So here we have one of Freddie Mercury. Here's another of one that's a stained glass window. This one's pretty colorful. Here's another one that's been done of a colorful portrait. This one's been done in just 6 colors, and then I resized it and tipped it up. And here's the one that I did most recently. This came from a photograph of an Arizona sunset. This one has also been done in 6 colors. But I came across a new tool, an online tool that I wanted to show everyone because, for me anyway, it dramatically increases the detail and better color separation when we're using either logos or photos. So let me show you where I started. I generally begin my searches over on Google under Google Images, and here I've searched on colorful photographs, and we have lots of them to choose from here. This is a rather interesting one. You could also look up things, for instance, say NFL logos. That's another example. And you could pick any one of these logos. Here's a search on colorful portraits. These are portraits. You can download most of these from Google. We'll find one that's fairly interesting here. Here's a fairly good image that I think that we can work with. It already has fewer colors, and again, depending upon your AMS or CFS setup, I generally try to reduce these images down to either just 6 or maybe up to 8 colors. This one already has very few colors to it. I think it will work well. Now bear in mind, again, this will work with logos just the same. So the first thing we're going to do here is save this image, and we'll say Save Image As. This one happens to be a JPEG. That's usable. We're looking for a JPEG, a PNG, or an SVG file. So we'll save this one to my PC. Now let's jump over to this tool. This is vectorizer.io, vectorizer.io. And we'll begin here by uploading an image. We'll go ahead and select that image that we grabbed from Google. Click Open, and we give it a moment, and it'll load it on the left-hand side here. Now we have only a couple of options that we need to change to make this work well. We can either choose clip art or photo. I think in this case, I'm going to go ahead and choose clip art. I'm going to come down here, and you can also change the detail level. I'm going to select very high. And then the other part we need to change will be right down here. We need to reduce the number of colors. So let's try this with just 6 colors. I'll choose 6. And you give it a moment. It'll vectorize and give you the resulting image over here. Now, if we zoom in on this, I just have my cursor over it, and I'm using the wheel on the mouse. You can see the difference between the edges of the colors over here in the original JPEG versus this vector file here. So I think this gave a pretty good representation of what this would look like, and we have been able to reduce it to just 6 colors. Now, I don't have an account here, so when I click on download, I'm presented with this. You have to pay for it, but I've found a little bit of a way around that where I can still get a good copy of this image here. So what I'm going to do is, and this is available on most browsers, I'm going to hold down the Control key, and I'm going to hit the plus sign, and I'm going to enlarge my browser window here. I happen to be in Firefox, and I'm going to scroll down a bit here. And I'm going to try to get that image as large as I can on screen. And then I'm going to pop open my little Snagit tool here, the snipping tool. I want a new image, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to lasso the part of this that I want. There, I now have it in my snipping tool, and I'm going to click Save. We're going to go to my tutorial folder, and it's just called capture.png. We also have the option of saving that as a GIF or a JPEG, but I recommend in this case you do it as a PNG. I'm going to click Save. Now we're going to jump back over to the tool that you've seen me use before. This is ping to svg.com, PNG to svg.com. We're going to scroll down here. We're going to click on Choose a File. Go to my tutorial. I'm going to click on that ping that we saved in the last step. It'll bring that image in. Now, up here, I want to reduce this or make sure I'm set at 6 colors. I'm going to add +1 to simplify. Now, I always recommend that once you get to this point, that you set your own colors. And the way to do that is by clicking on the palette up here. You click in there, and then you get the little eyedropper over here, and you can set the color. So we have our orange. There's kind of a light blue. There's the dark blue. We'll grab the purple part of it. We have this tan part. And then the last color would be this orange in here. There we go. Once we have our colors selected, we're going to click on Generate, give it a moment here, and it'll bring up the image over here on the right side. Now there's our resulting vector file. Now what we're after here is not downloading this SVG. The thing that's unique about ping to svg.com is getting this. Now I do realize that in Inkscape, the program Inkscape, there is a feature where you can take color images like these and vectorize it. But I've found through experimenting that the color definitions aren't as good, and it also doesn't give us these little reference marks that we're going to need to line everything up. So we're going to scroll down here. I'm going to click on Download Cut SVG. Going to go into our tutorial folder, and it's called Image to Vector Split.svg. We're going to click on Save. Now we're going to jump over to Inkscape. All right, here we are in Inkscape. I've opened up the image that we saved in the last step where it's been separated into colors. I'm going to come up here, click on Layer, Layers and Objects. That gives us this dialog. We want to expand this folder, and then each one of these paths is one of the colors we've separated. So we'll start down here with path 0. I'm going to come up here to File, Export. That gives us the Export dialog. I'm going to come down here, click Export Selected Only. I'm going to change the default to Inkscape SVG. I need to change my folder here. Okay, we're in the tutorial folder. I'm going to click on Export, and I'm going to repeat that for each path. So path 1, Export, Export. Once you're all done in Inkscape, and you've exported all of the paths, in this case there's 6 of them, we can jump back over to TinkerCAD and begin importing those SVGs. So let's go ahead and go over to TinkerCAD here, and let's open up a new 3D design. I've opened a new project here in TinkerCAD, called it Color Portrait Tutorial. And if I come over to my tutorial folder here, I have all of my different SVGs, and I'm going to reference back to this because this will help me determine the colors that I need to turn these into as I import them. Well, we're at about 9 minutes and 40 seconds, so I'm going to continue this on the next tutorial. So as always, like, follow, and share. Please drop me a comment, and we'll see you on the next one. Watch for part 2.